Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So introducing Mr. Mohsin to you, he's a very promising wildlife conservationist from Kashmir and wildlife researcher, and he has been spending the recent years in studying the musk deer and in other ungulates of Kashmir Himalayas. So most of the time he has been spending in the rugged terrains of Himalayas, and he's just about to complete his PhD from the Aligarh Muslim University. And today we are delighted and honored to have him in today's session. So the
Absolutely.
session will be hosted by you, Dr. Oshima Sin, the co-founder of OneWild India Collective and a wildlife storyteller. So yes, it's going to be a very amazing evening today, and we hope and expect to learn more about the musk deer. So over to you, Deep.
Yes. So it's a pleasure to have Mohsin here, and so basically, welcome to this session, Mohsin.
Thank you. Thank you.
And basically, let me go directly to the questions. And since you started your journey as a wildlife researcher, you are an inspiration, I would say, to many youngsters who want to be in the field. And we would love to know about your journey into this field. How you started, maybe start from your childhood days, and why you chose this field of wildlife research, and right now what you are doing. We'd love to know that.
Thank you very much for inviting me. My name is Mohsin Javid, and I am a wildlife researcher and PhD scholar in Department of Wildlife Sciences at Aligarh Muslim University. My research primarily focuses on ecology and conservation of endangered Kashmir musk deer in northwest Himalayas. Earlier, when I was a kid, I was so fascinated for animals, and I was loving to have animals around me. Then I started bachelor's in forestry from Skast, Kashmir, and that was also my aim to go into the conservation. And then when I was in third year of my
Hmm.
bachelor's, I
Hmm.
for an all India tour, we went to Wildlife Institute of India,
Hmm. Hmm.
where they showed us some of the where we went to a lab that was actually the forensic lab, and they
Okay.
showed us some of the specimens there for the animals, and that started developing me passion for the wildlife and for the animals, and for how why we should work with the animals, and how
Hmm.
that showed me a path to work on the animals.
Hmm.
And then I was searching for to join for the masters in wildlife sciences, but on our time there was all the time there was some alternate years for wildlife entrance in Wildlife Institute of India, and then I found the alternate to join Aligarh Muslim University for masters in wildlife sciences.
Hmm.
There is some echo sound.
You're
Am I
hearing from?
audible?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly. Yeah.
But I hear some echo sound. My sound is repeating to me.
Kashif, are you hearing the same?
No, I think it might be due to the headphones. Can you just try without headphones?
Oh,
Yeah.
then it's okay. Headphones will give good sound.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So thank you for telling us about your fascinating journey into the world of wildlife. Throughout this journey, who inspired you, or did someone inspire you, or was it just basically your something that came from your inside,
No,
your.
that was
Yeah.
a lab
Yeah.
in Wildlife Institute of India, forensic lab in Wildlife Institute of India, and
Okay.
one of my supervisor and who is my guide, who always helped me, Professor
Okay.
Kashif. He
Okay.
was the only person in SCOST in wildlife sciences.
Oh, wonderful. That's great to
Yeah.
know. And so, let's then come to the fascinating species that you're working with, because very few of us know about it, and it's like a very elusive species. And it's we are great, happy, and fortunate that we have you today to talk about this species. So, basically, the Kashmir musk deer. So, what do you know about the deer? We hardly know about this animal, and it's a lesser known species. I heard it's a beautiful species. So, please, we would
See,
love to know about this species from you.
musk deer are not true deers.
Okay,
They belong to the morchidae. They are not
okay,
the cervids. They have
okay,
earlier they were in cervids, but they are not now in cervids. They are another family called morchidae, and there are seven species of this family,
hmm,
out of which four species are in India. We have Kashmir musk deer, we have alpine musk deer, we have Himalayan musk deer, and we have black
Okay.
musk deer. These four
Okay.
species are distributed throughout the Himalayas, and in western Himalayas we have Kashmir musk deer and Himalayan musk deer, and some places there are in overlap with alpine musk deer also. But what is still unknown is that how these species are distributed throughout the Himalayas, from where to where they are distributed, and at which places they are in overlap. For Kashmir musk deer specifically, the distribution starts from Afghanistan, Pakistan, and it was known till Kashmir. And now some genetic studies also revealed that the Kashmir musk deer have distribution in Nepal and some parts of this Himachal and Uttarakhand also.
Okay. Okay.
So
Wonderful.
these musk deer actually they are known for the musk gland, which is present in the male of this species, and for what the species is poached, and for what the species is going into the thread.
Right. Okay. I mean, we did not know about so many, these species that are there, like, the other musk deer species that you spoke of. Like, we just heard of this one. It's wonderful to know that. And also, it's quite sad that the musk deer is poached for its musk. Can you please, like, tell us a bit more about that? Like, this threat of poaching, how it happens, what happens, why is the musk used, for what purposes?
Musk is actually used for the base in the perfumes. So the male possesses adult males possess a gland, and which is present in their navel, and they are usually poached without killing the animal. We cannot extract the whole of the musk from the animal, and
Okay.
usually the poachers are criminals. They
Mm-hmm.
they don't see the animal as an animal. They just see these animals as money going in front of them. And whole of this poaching is a strategic. This is not done by just one person or two-person. All this is done by a whole group. In this group, this group is some of the 5 or 7 persons. See, musk deer lives usually on the ridges. They live on the forest ridges where
Okay.
there is northern aspect, southern aspect, and when all of my sightings are just 10 or 20 meter below the ridge towards the southern aspect side of the forest. And when poachers go to the forest, they have a team of 7 or 8 persons. Some of the
Okay.
persons come from the ridge, from this what we call as nala, which is related to which is the
Acha.
base of each of the forest, and
Okay.
they keep shouting there, and the
Okay.
musk deer inside the forest come out. There are some of the persons on the peak who usually hunt them and who usually shoot them on the peak of the mountain. And this is the when there is market. This, the poaching is only possible when there is money related to this. I have some of the photographs of poachers in my camera traps because I have installed the camera traps throughout the Kashmir Valley, and all these I have interaction with some of the poachers, but they just were the needy persons who told that I have need of money, who told that. But this is a strategic. There are in Kashmir we have seasonal herders, and they have built their permanent structures inside the forest, inside the grasslands, and these permanent structures are used for poaching. These permanent structures are empty during the winter season, and in winter season the poachers use these permanent structures and shelters for snow. And the musk deer is a small animal. The height
Okay.
is not so much, and when on the snow, when the species move on the snow, they get some of the clues where the species goes, and they are already there inside the forest,
Okay.
and they go for poaching the. And some of the persons, while my interview with the people, they say that we saw there that some of the a team bringing
My
six musk deer
goodness.
individuals in one hunt. For they went for 3 or 4 days inside the forest, and they bring 6 musk deer individuals.
And it's an endangered species, right? Like the same status as
Yeah, yeah,
tigers,
the
and we are
species
losing
is,
musk deer. So
yeah,
we don't even
but
know
what
about it.
we have in India, we have good policy for tigers, but we
Mhm.
don't have a good policy for musk deer. We have
Absolutely.
we have good policy for rhinos. We have good policy for
Yes.
elephants. We have
Hmm.
Project Elephant. We have Project.
Hmm.
We don't have any this
Hmm.
concern for musk deer, as we
Yeah.
have four species. The
Hmm.
study on the species is so restricted that we don't still know how many species we have. Do we have
Hmm.
four species? Do we have? There is still confusion in the scientific community about the
Okay.
species
Okay.
level of musk deer.
Okay. Quite horrific to know the way they are poached. So, like, so as you mentioned, like, they are often live on the ridges and also, like, basically Kashmir has a very rough terrain, in terms of
Yeah,
like the species.
yeah,
So,
they are
where else, like,
they
what
they
else
inhabit all the
yeah,
rough terrains.
yes,
Throughout
okay,
the Kashmir, we have a distribution of musk deer. Every
right,
forest, either it is the protected area, either it
hmm
is non-protected area.
okay. So
One
we
of
have it in
my
both places. Okay,
yeah, my study which I am which is still in this, maybe it will come in few days, that is in that is accepted, and the paper is accepted, and is at final stage, that shows that there we have around 3,000 square kilometer of distribution of this species in Kashmir,
okay,
but
okay,
out of which only 20% is inside the protected areas.
okay,
80% of the species distribution is outside the protected areas. The wildlife department
okay.
is giving the efforts inside the protected areas.
But
But while the 80% of the species lie outside the protected area, we don't have any concern about the distribution of the species. Patrolling is done inside the protected areas, but
yes.
poachers usually hunt the species outside the protected areas.
Okay. So, like as you mentioned, then it's quite like a terrible situation right now regarding. First of all, it is given less attention. Second is like it's found mostly in non-protected areas, and it's a very highly vulnerable species, unable to defend that way. And so, basically, other than poaching, then what are the other threats to this animal?
Grazing is the main threat, and intervention in the forest,
Hmm.
recently I was
Hmm.
on
Hmm.
an expedition to the Ladakh,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I was seeing that each of the tower for the electricity have a road. While I was crossing the Zojila, I saw the tower of our electricity that has the road. Where there
Okay.
is roads, there are human footprints, there is fragmentation, and this is the threat for every species in
Okay.
this Himalayas.
Okay.
Climate change is still another threat. We are
Right.
opening whole of the forests, whole of the landscape for the tourism. We
Hmm.
have no tourism policy. All of the landscape is open. Just wherever you want to go, you can go in Kashmir.
Right. Right.
And we this time we have just the strongholds for the musk deer in Gurez Valley,
Hmm.
where I have this where I was studying from last 2 years. I have 3 years. I have installed around 85 camera traps in the valley in Gurez Valley. But the poachers on that time know that there are the camera traps installed in the forest. They avoid to go inside the forests, and the musk deer start seeing the musk deer on the roadside on that time, because there was this intervention inside the forest. People were not going inside the forest. Wildlife department shall have some good policy to work outside and inside the forests.
Right, understood. And so, like as you mentioned, poaching is like poaching and grazing. Then these are two major threats, and
Poaching, grazing, and climate change.
and climate change. Yes. And so, like, how does a bit more in details about how climate change is affecting these animals?
See, while the temperature changes, the see what is the policy of the forest department is they just go for the plantation. This is they wherever we have the fallow lands, they should be fallow lands. Wherever we have the grasslands, they must be grasslands, because a species need a mosaic of habitats, not just a forest.
Yes, that is an issue all over
While
India.
we go for the plantation everywhere, that changes the microclimate of the area. I was while I was going to the Ladakh, I saw the change in from the few years. I saw the change in plantation structure. Everywhere there were increasing in plantations. That is a destruction for the landscape, and that is
Yes.
a very big problem for the species, for the landscape, for the microclimate, and especially for the Himalayan regions.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes, for sure. I mean, it's happening all over India, I think, this issue that there's too much plantation and without any scientific, consultation most of the time.
Plantation should be there, but on the places where there is plant, where there is a
Yes,
tree. When
yes,
you cut a forest, you should replace the forest with the trees,
yes,
but not on open grasslands, but not on
yes,
fallow lands.
yes, yes, absolutely true. And so, like, this since poaching is a major, so where is the market for this, musk of these? So, as you mentioned, that it is like marginalized
See
community
what China
form.
is doing. China have musk deer breeding farms. They
Okay,
are breeding the musk deer and they are extracting the musk from the musk deer. But
okay,
what happens? There is the market. When there is cultivation of some species, there is market for that species.
yes, yes, yes,
But
yes.
what are the where from the trade is going on? That is the work of the forest department. That is the work of the traffic. That is the
Mm-hmm.
work of the other these organizations who are working on this trade and other aspects.
Mm-hmm.
They should manage the leaks. If there is no market, there will be no poaching.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
when there is money, there is people. They are just for the money.
Right. Yes. Yes. Absolutely true. And another thing is like, yeah, even if they have alternative sources of income, maybe because they are getting quick income from killing a
Yeah,
landscape.
what
Yeah.
was one of my objective to understand
Yeah.
the community involvement, to understand
Yes.
the ecotourism, how
Yes.
people will be involved in conservation of the musk deer. What I
Yes.
got is that there are a lot of the filing and lot of the documentation which is required for starting a homestay, starting a guide.
Okay.
So
Okay.
people are not willing to go through these
Uh, all this is
this documentation when the land is when the land is on name of his father. He is not ready to give him the documents
okay.
to this to register his home for homestay.
Mm-hmm.
And while they need the documents to register for homestay, they are not getting properly, and there is no channel for the
Hmm.
ecotourism.
Hmm.
Ecotourism, there is no ecotourism policy in Kashmir also.
Hmm. Right. Understood. Yes. So these are major issues actually then. And there's a lot of regulations, too many regulations to allow people to have ecotourism properly. And so these are the like threats as you mentioned. And so like in case of hangul, like it's like the hangul comes down when it is winter, it goes up to the higher altitudes when it's summer. Is it like that for the musty as well? It's like moves.
Yeah, there is altitudinal migration in musk deer
Okay.
also. They usually prefer the altitude from 2500 to 4000. And
Okay.
in winter, they slightly comes down to from they are present from 2000 to 3000 or 3500 meters in
Okay.
altitude.
Okay. And like when the poaching happens, is there any seasonal preference when they are killed? Like during that time, they need to be protected more, something like that.
Yeah, in winter they need more. This wildlife department should enhance the patrolling in outside the protected area.
Okay. Okay.
The
Got it.
areas which are under the seasonal herders occupancy during the
Okay.
summer, they
Okay.
shall increase patrolling in these areas also.
Right. Because they come like to the lower altitude, to people inhabited near the areas, maybe.
Yeah, people are inhabited there. They have permanent structures built over there, which are
Okay.
used by the poachers in winter, while snow, because they don't live there for whole of the year. They live there for just 3 months, June,
Okay.
July, and August.
Okay, okay, got it. And another thing is like there are retaliatory killings in case of some species, but is it so in case of Malstia because like it has maybe it feeds on the crops or something like that? Is that in
No,
poaching?
no, no.
That's
There
not.
is there is no such evidence of crop this
Okay.
this feeding on crops by the musk deer. But there are some of the evidences in Greece. They have the piles of
Okay.
grasses which are the stores for which they store for the winter for their livestock, and they
Okay.
claim that musk deer come to feed on their grass when there is no food availability, when the snow height is more than snow remains more than 5 or 6 days. There is continuous snow for 2 or 3 days. While there is snow, while the sunlight comes, while the heat comes, the these this southern aspect get clear off very early. When the snow
Okay.
comes, they become available for them as this grass, these foraging grounds. But
Okay.
if the snow is for 3 or 4 days, continuously for 3 days at higher altitudes, then they remain also closed. And
Hmm.
maybe on that time, they also are adapted to feed on some of the conifers, on the betula twigs, on lichens. They are very much adaptive. They are actually generalist, and they feed on most of the not that generalist feeding on everything, but more or less they are very flexible in terms of food.
Okay, that's what is one good trait that helps them, maybe. But and what about the breeding season? What is the breeding season? How many calves do they have?
I have just two in just one camera trap, two this offsprings in one camera trap, and others reveal that there are one there is just
Okay.
one litter for them.
Okay, okay, got it. So, so now we know about the threats of the musk deer, and that it is disappearing. But what is its importance to the ecosystem? Why we need to conserve it?
See, when we talk of the importance is not just for a single species. When we the importance for this in wildlife, we talk for the importance is just a community level.
Yes.
We
Okay.
should consider a ecosystem. We should consider whole of the landscape as a community level.
Hmm.
For musk deer, this they have a lot of use. They serve as a food for the large predator like for snow leopard and wolf. They are food for these species, but they also maintain the this ecosystem by feeding on the grasses, by feeding on these twigs. They also help in management of the forest and ecosystem. they
Okay.
are the they are the indicators of good and healthy ecosystem.
Absolutely. Yeah, every species has importance in the ecosystem, and so truly. And so, as you are a scientist, a wildlife researcher who has been traveling in the wilds in search of the musk deer, you must have come across a lot of interesting incidents regarding the musk deer, or maybe some species like the black bear you encountered. So are there any such stories of your own, you would like to
I
share?
have been encountered with, I think, all the species from this weasels, from musk deer, from hagul, from this leopard, from black bear, brown bear, wolf.
Oh,
I have encountered with each and every species
even
in
brown
wild.
bears. Wow, that's amazing to know that. So, anything like how do you manage these through these species in
We
the wilderness?
escape. We escape at a long distance when we see the species. We just escape.
Okay,
Escape is the only trick for bears because
okay,
you cannot fight with bears.
okay, okay.
And for leopard, they are the ghost of forest. They see you, but you didn't see them. When you
Absolutely
see them, they just escape.
right, right.
Leopard don't attack on adult persons.
Okay,
Mostly when you are two or more than two.
okay, got it. And so, and you also must have traveled, all this terrain, so it must have been difficult to travel through the mountains, in search of the musk deer. Like, how was your experiences, through the yeah?
Yes.
How are your
But
experiences as you travel through the mountains in search of the musk deer? It's not just
yeah.
a species, but also the terrain is difficult. The weather is sometimes changing, and also what are your
Yeah,
experiences?
they everything is challenging because in Himalaya when you go for the higher reaches, there is you will see the sunny in the morning, but when you reach it is 3 or 4, around 4, there may be hail, there may be storm, there may be anything.
Okay.
But we just managed to escape under the rocks. We have sometimes I have slept in open sky. Sometimes I have slept under the rocks. Sometimes I have slept inside these herders' sheds where they usually keep their livestock. Really, I remember one incident that I have. I just slept. I just don't even cleaned the pellets of the sheep and goat. I opened my sleeping bag and slept.
Okay.
Slept there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can imagine the life of a wildlife researcher is extremely like uncomfortable. But what makes you go on, like like despite all these issues, these challenges, major challenges, even sometimes to your life, maybe because you're going through wild terrains, anything can happen at any time. So what keeps you going through all this?
That was the motivation, the species, the concern for the wildlife. They were just more than the threat. My,
Right.
uh, yeah.
Right, great to know that, and we need more researchers like you for sure. And along with like your work, and also what do you think needs to be done for the future of this musk deer? How to conserve it? What is needed? What are the things, the points you would like to mention?
This wildlife department should focus on patrolling for the conservation of the species.
Mm-hmm.
Wildlife department should focus to have beyond what they are thinking the flagship species. Like in Kashmir, we have Hangul. Hangul is important. Hangul have its importance, and no one can ignore the importance of the Hangul.
Yes.
But other species are equally important. Same
Mm-hmm.
for the Markhor.
Mm-hmm.
Markhor, we have just in India, we have Markhor restricted to a small part between in this Pir Panjal range. But no concern for that also.
Mm-hmm.
There
Right.
are a lot of species which remain, which didn't get enough conservation importance. Where government should work. We just I can write I can publish whole of my findings. But who are the final stakeholders who are going to use that findings and who are going to use my publications in management? This is the wildlife department.
Hmm. Absolutely.
They
And
shall come on ground. They shall have some interaction with
yes.
these researchers who are working on these aspects. Everyone is working on different aspects.
Yes.
Like Professor Khurshid, he have devoted his whole of his life for Hangul, and he know everything about Hangul. He is
Mm-hmm.
working for, I think he is working from last 20 years. From last 20 years, he is working on Hangul. He
Mm-hmm.
should be, he should be, he should be the primary stakeholder to
Right.
work on Hangul.
Right. Right.
Same
Absolutely.
with other persons who are working with different species, who are working with wildlife department should have some collaboration with them. Wildlife department should take their insights in conservation.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, for sure. And definitely, so this is very important that the government takes notice, or concerned authorities take notice of these species, otherwise they will disappear. But thanks to you scientists who are actually working on these species and trying to protect them. And also, like, what is the what is the response of the communities to the Kashmir musk deer? Like, what is the kind of relation they have with the musk deer, or is it like something, a species very
See,
elusive? Yeah.
there are some of the elements in the community who are criminals, who are
Okay.
poachers.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Everyone is not a poacher, but people don't even know about the species. When this in musk deer in male, there are elongated canines,
Hmm.
which are downwards. When people see these canines, they just see they are musk deer are also known as vampire deers.
Oh, okay, okay.
So people see these canines and they think that this is a harmful animal, and they
Acha.
and one of the problem is with musk deer, they usually go for capture myopathy. When we capture the species, they just collapse in a day or two.
Oh,
We
that's
shouldn't. We should.
okay.
People should leave these species at their own will. They
Oh,
shouldn't even touch them. They should leave them, and they will go by their own self. They will go into the forest.
mm-hmm. Got it. My goodness, that's a very sensitive species, and I feel so sorry for it. Like then, like because people need
A
to know.
proper training program should go
Absolutely,
with
yeah.
communities
Yeah.
with these French who are living around the forest where we have musk deer. We have musk deer throughout the Kashmir.
Hmm, 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 hmm.
Till the community will not be sensitized, till the community till the proper this what we say that proper communication is not between the wildlife department and people, proper advertisement is not for the species, people will not know is this important species. And another thing in Kashmir what we have is the paramilitary. They should also be involved, they should also be trained for the wildlife,
Hmm,
because
hmm.
we have whole of all of our important areas for musk deer are under the army, and
Yes,
they shall be trained for the conservation of these species. They shall know about the species, which
yes.
species is important and how much important the species is.
Yes, 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 that would be great because yes, because they are the ones who are going into the remote areas and they must know about the species to be care, to take care of it. It's very important. Therefore, I think then mass awareness, education campaigns in Kashmir for all these species that you spoke about, the monster species, the angurs, because they are so less known and they are so much a threat. Like wonderful to know from you in so much details about this elusive endangered species. I'm sure very few know about it and they would love to learn from your talk today. And so like I think these were the questions I have as of now. If anyone else has questions, if Kashif, if you want to ask something, you can. Otherwise, I would, yeah, if you have any
Yeah,
questions.
that's a really wonderful and a really knowledgeable session from Mohsin Bhai. I mean, we are really delighted, and I hope that whatever the points are jotted down by Mohsin Bhai are really taken into the consideration. And
Absolutely.
we at One Wild India Collective, at our own level, will try our best to reach out to the communities and
Yes.
try our best to educate communities on the must there, so the future of wildlife remains safe and secure. So thank
Yes.
you very much. Thank you, Mohsin Bhai. Thank you
Thank you,
Yes,
for
and
Kashif.
I would
joining the
like to
session.
ask,
Yeah,
yeah, I asked Mohsin if he has a message, to future. I would say conservationists, researchers who want to work on lesser known species. If you want to say something, why you should come and conserve, why you should come into this field.
See, anyone who wants to work on the lesser known species, first of all, he should know the landscape. Before going into for the species, he just have to study about the landscape, because some of the persons who are from other parts of the country who are
Mm-hmm.
trying to work in Kashmir,
Mm-hmm.
they need to have proper time for permissions, because I know myself, I stayed outside the army camps for half of the days, for days, for 2 days, for 3 days, for permission. They
Mm-hmm.
let me to go for my camera traps.
Mm-hmm.
They should have all these things in mind before working in this landscape.
Mm-hmm.
They should have in their mind the climate of this area. They
Mm-hmm.
should inaccessible areas, because the wildlife is not close to the roads in Kashmir. They
Mm-hmm.
are they are on rough landscapes. They are on terrains. They are so rugged terrains. They shall first consult some of the mentor from this region, and then they should start their studies in
Right.
Kashmir.
Right, right. Thank you, Mohsin. I mean, I myself was enlightened today about the musk deer. I have heard about it so much. I mean, the musk deer and all, it's like a species like so elusive, no one knows about it. But I really came to learn about the species today from you. Thank you so much, and I'm sure people
Thank
would
you.
love to learn from you. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Kashif. Over
Thank you.
to you, Kashif. Sorry, I cannot hear you, Kashif. You're muted.
okay. Okay, so
Yeah.
am I audible now?
Yeah, yes, yes.
Okay,
You
so
are.
thank you, Mohsin Bhai. It was really an enlightening session, I would say, and I
Yes,
hope that the message is carried forward as much as possible, so that the safety and security of the elusive species remains in consideration. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Kashif.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. Okay, Dee, thank you.
yeah, thank you. Bye bye.
Okay, bye, bye.